Our first guest hit 339 home runs during his major league career, was a two-time All-Star, played for the Yankees from 1996 to 2001, and also won 4 World Series with the team. He also has a plaque in Monument Park at Yankee Stadium. Please welcome the man I like to call Constantino Martinez. Our next guest, if the room is not as up as you think it should be, it'll change in a moment. Our next guest hit 245 home runs during his major league career, was an All-Star and World Series champion when he played for the Yankees. He was a fan favorite as a player and is still very popular among Yankee fans. Please welcome the man who's Swishalicious, Nick Swisher. Told you. Up next is the current manager of the New York Yankees. He's held the position since 2018. He was also a player for 13 major league seasons, including 1 season for the Yankees. His most memorable moment in pinstripes was him hitting the game-winning home run against the Red Sox in the 11th inning of Game 7 of the 2007 ALCS, which sent the Yankees, 2003 ALCS, which sent the Yankees to the World Series. Please welcome Aaron Boone. And finally, you just saw her as the host of The Story of My Number, an accomplished actress and singer. Please welcome Gracie Cashman. All right, let's have some fun, everybody. Gracie, congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Are you excited about it?
No.
No?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I mean, this is crazy. I can't even believe that we're here at this event doing this tonight. I couldn't have asked for anything better. It's
all right, so how did the idea of the show come about?
So I wasn't there for the inception of the show's idea, but from what I've heard, the producers had this wonderful idea about a numbers show and these athletes, and they took it to Yes, who obviously loved it and said that they wanted to work together to do it. And originally they had hoped that a former player would host the show, with that idea being that there would be some level of trust with a former player and kind of give the right tone of what the show would be to the interviewee. And then they saw a video of me hosting a different baseball reality show, and I think that it was just a good fit. We got on a call, we worked well together, and I think I checked the box of kind of being part of the Yankee family and having that level of trust just kind of built into the relationship already, so it worked out really nicely.
Now, watching the shows, it looks like it took an incredible amount of research. I mean, those numbers, you stumped a lot of these guys with those numbers, so who does all that research?
We have an amazing team. Our writer Josh was doing like so much work. Yeah, an unbelievable amount of research. They would give, oh, there you are, Josh, yay! An unbelievable amount of research. I mean, like high school magazines, and then I would get a little research packet. We would do a really long rehearsal process where we would go through every question and talk through every possible answer. Some of you stumped us and came up with new things that we had no idea, so that was fun too. But it was a really, really deeply researched show.
Now, I thought it was so, human, where, your dad, Brian, taught you always to call everybody that you met in the Yankee family Mr.
Yeah.
So calling him Aaron was tough for you, right?
Yeah, I don't like it. When I was little, they were my dad's coworkers. You don't just walk around calling people your dad works with Derek. It's like, that's Mr. Cheater. Like, that's not, you're a 4-year-old, you don't call him Derek. But then, when you've known someone this long.
I'm 43 and still don't call him that.
Yeah. So, it was a hard transition for some of them.
Well, Gracie ran into me in the back. She said, hey, what's up, Caster? So it wasn't like with me at all. Now, the strange thing, Tino, is that since you were on the show, your beard fell out. What happened?
It was a phase. I don't know if they showed it earlier. I just telling Michael that I just let my beard grow out in case somebody sees me, a producer out there or somebody knows I can grow a beard and not have a beard. So I'm looking for that one big break. Just a phase.
Now, Aaron, obviously we just saw the whole show that you were on, and it looked like you were genuinely shocked at some of the, the numbers that you just had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I love trivia and sports trivia and baseball trivia about myself, which a lot of this ended up being. But it was at a time last year when, it wasn't the most convenient time to walk up there and shoot this thing. And I ended up having so much fun. Gracie was amazing. The staff up there was amazing. And it got to be this like, man, I'm into this now. And now it's like a game and I'm having fun in this interaction. Loved doing it, learned a lot. Some of the things they were able to come up with was just a lot of fun. I'm playing this immaculate grid, this batter up, the thing.
Name that Yankee?
Name that Yankee. I love all this stuff. This was like that on steroids. This was amazing.
I found it incredible, and you just saw the show. He did not know he was traded for Charlie Manning until Gracie told him.
Yeah. I got one right. I got Brandon Clausen.
Now, Gracie, I'm wondering, when you interview Nick Swisher, do you feel you have to bring your energy level up?
No, because he's going to bring all of it for you. So he's going to do double duty. So it doesn't even matter. But that was a super easy interview. I mean, they all were, but obviously interviewing Uncle Nick was extra special.
What was it like?
Bro, it was amazing. I mean, listen, I've known this girl since she was like this big. So when she calls and needs help with something, she knows I'd always be there for her. My family loves her, just like she's part of our family. So any endeavor that she's part of, you want to go ahead and support her, because I know the support that she gave us throughout my career. So I just wanted to make sure I could give her the support that she gave me. So I thought it was an amazing thing. I love seeing her growth as just from a little kid into a woman, and now what she's doing just as an actress, as a singer, and now, starting here on the Yes Network. I mean, she truly is part of the Yankee family. So the fact that she's doing things with the New York Yankee organization, I could not be more proud of her.
Gracie, did you just call him Uncle Nick? So who gets uncle status and who gets Mr. status?
You got to ask Brian Cashman. That's a him question. Whoever he starts calling by their first name, if he puts Uncle in front of it, we've got Uncle Omar, Uncle Olay. If he starts putting Uncle in front of it, then it's Uncle, first name's okay. Otherwise, last name basis, Mister.
All right, so Tina, what were the numbers that Gracie got you on that you just didn't even know?
Well, she got me on a lot of them, actually, because it was a great interview. First of all, she was so prepared. I mean, it was unbelievable preparation she did to come up with all these questions and numbers. I don't remember exactly some of the ones she asked me that I forgot, but she would ask me some, and she would tell me the answers, and I totally forgot, not just numbers questions, but other questions about my family or history or something. And then, no, seriously, and I was like, man, I don't remember. And then she would tell me, so I would have to redo the question with her and come back with the right answer. And anyway, I was just like, I don't know. But she asked so many great questions, it was fun to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Now, Gracie, you told me a story backstage, which I found very humorous. You actually did an extra show. So there was a show with Harrison Bader.
Yes.
Then your dad really stiffed you, right?
I won't name names, but somebody put him on waivers.
But I think she got an extra day worth of pay in that.
I did. So maybe you should do it more often. I don't know.
Did you say, Dad, what are you doing? I just did the show with him.
He called me and said, maybe a week or two after we filmed, and said, I just want to give you a heads up. And I was like, are you kidding? You got to be kidding. But yeah.
Well, will that show ever be seen, or is that like the lost tapes?
That's not a me question.
All right, so is it easier, Nick, to be interviewed by somebody that, as you said, you've known since she was this high? Or is it difficult because you have a different relationship?
No, easier. I mean, I think it's pretty easy to do interviews in general for me. But I think this one had a little more feel to it. And just in general, I think everything not only that Gracie means to me, but the Cashman family in general means to me. That's a family that I'll do anything for at any time. Anytime they need me, I'll be there. So I think for this one, although she did stump me with a few things, she did crack on me a little bit, made some jokes, ha, funny. Telling me how much my wife had 500,000 more Instagram followers than me, which I thought was
Wow.
very, thanks for bringing that up. But in general, I was just, what a cool show idea. I've never, I've been part of the game for 20 years now, and I've never, ever explained to anybody how I got my number or why I have my number. So I thought it was such a really, really cool thing. And as much as I never knew that they wanted a former player to host the show, I'm glad they didn't, because I think having you at the helm of that, I think really kind of hits differently, because we could joke about a lot of stuff, but it's good.
It's funny because when I heard the premise of the show, I said, okay, they'll tell Gracie the number, and then how do you fill out the rest of the? But it's all kind of numbers in
I
your
felt
life,
the
right?
same way. I'm like, well, okay, and then it's like,
Yeah, 17, 1 plus
this is
7.
unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like your first phone number, something like that. She found out everything. It's amazing. So how did you? We'll preview the show. How did you get your number with the Yankees, Nick?
Actually, I had to pay for my number. So when I first came over from the White Sox in 08, I was wearing number 30 at the time. And then when I came over, Brian Burney, I don't know if anybody remembers Burney, he was a right-handed reliever for us, and he wouldn't give it up. And so I had to go the old school route, which just happened to be a little cash, which got me my number back, which was great. And worth every penny, by the way.
You wouldn't give it up.
No, wouldn't give it up. And rightfully so. I mean, listen, if you know how a locker room works, you know how numbers work. And listen, if I had somebody's number that they wanted, I mean, it's at least a new watch, or I mean, if you're with the Dodgers, I mean, it could be a new car or whatever. It just depends. So for me, just to be able to get number 33 from Bruni was awesome, and to be able to have number 33 for my whole tenure here as a Yankee was pretty cool.
Funny story concerning numbers. When the Yankees got Steve Sax, he was number 3 with the Dodgers. So the Yankees said, well, what number do you want? He said, number 3. And they said, that's Babe Ruth's number. And he said, well, he's not using it. That was Steve Sax. How did you get your number, Tino?
Well, when I got traded to the Yankees, I was playing in Seattle, and I was number 23. And I loved number 23 because I was a big Michael Jordan fan, and that's why I wore it. So when I got traded to the Yankees, I knew that obviously everyone knows that Don Mattingly wore 23 and was an icon here, one of the best players in Yankee history. And I wasn't going to wear 23. I was trying to find another number, but all the numbers I liked, the single-digit numbers were all retired, obviously. The teens, they were all taken by veteran guys. So 24 was available. So I thought, okay, I'll wear 24 for no other reason than it's a pretty cool number, and I'll just wear it. So I remember that off season when I got traded to the Yankees, they had a fantasy fest back then at the
Javits Center.
the Javits Center, and there's thousands of fans would come. And I wasn't with the Yankees. This was like in November or February, January, February, before spring training. And they would come with, numbers, like the actual numbers that they're going to get ironed on a jersey. And they were all bringing, what number are you going to be? What number are you going to be? I said, I'm not sure. Maybe I think 24. So they gave me 2s and 4s, and I had to sign 2s and 4s. And then half of them would say, you're not wearing 23, are you? You're not wearing 23, are you? I go, no, I'm not wearing 23. That's obviously Don Mattingly's number. And they were on my butt already, on me, before I ever took the field. I'm like, I'm not going to wear 23. I had to tell the media that. I was already starting out, down low. But 24 worked out great. I love the number, and I'm still honored that some people remember me as the number 24.
I'm amazed that 24 has never really taken hold with the Yankees until you. It is a great number.
Great.
Throughout
It is.
baseball history, it's a great number.
I agree.
You
I
did
think
it proud.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a cool number, and people call me 2-4 all the time. Hey, 2-4, what's up?
Oh, man. I mean, I was banking on Juan Soto might wear number 33 this year, maybe, and I'd be like, tell my kids, be like, hey, all those jerseys, those are my jerseys.
Right.
Those are my jerseys in the stands right there.
See, that's always a pet peeve of mine. Like, I don't understand people that buy Yankee jerseys with the name on the back. That's not the Yankees. The Yankees don't have names on the back. So if you bought 33, you could say, oh, this is David Well. I mean,
Exactly.
it doesn't say
Jose
Swisher.
Canseco, maybe?
Yeah. I don't know if you go there.
I mean, whatever your preference,
All right, so we keep mentioning Mattingly, and you did one of the shows with him.
Yes.
Now, there are certain people that you kind of take a breath because they're like bigger than life. In Yankee history, Don Mattingly is godlike. So what was it like with him?
An honor. I mean, when we had started kind of talking about guests, he was one of the guests that we were like, this would be nuts. That would be absolutely crazy. So when he agreed to do it and we got it, I mean, it was unbelievable.
Can you give us a little hint why he got 23? Because he was 46 first.
He had a number of reasons as to why he chose that, actually. One, I think, was to honor his brother. So he had a couple of, like, really interesting reasons about that number.
Anybody that you interviewed that you were a little nervous? You said it was an honor with Mattingly. And maybe Uncle Nick. I mean,
It was shaking for Uncle Nick. I think maybe Mattingly I was the most nervous for, just because I had the least relationship with him going into it. Everyone else I think I had at least met once and had a memory of meeting them, except for him.
you know, one thing that really impressed me about watching Gracie do the show, some people do interviews and they don't listen to the answer. So the person who's answering the question go, oh, by the way, I killed 3 people on the way here, and they just go to the next question. You didn't do that. It was a conversation, and you were listening, which I think is, you know, it's a true art form when it comes to interviewing.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good job.
Thank you so much.
What were your other numbers, Nick, before the Yankees?
So when I first came up, I was number 9 because my father was number 9.
Right.
And obviously, you have a father that played in the show and anything, you wanted to be like him. And I never really got to wear number 9 past college. So when I went to college, they gave me number 33, and I was like, whoa, big fella. My number's right over there. What is this, double-digit number? No, player, mine's up there in the corner.
Right.
And they're like, no, it says right here, Nick Swisher, number 33. And I was like, no, Nick Swisher, number 9. Right up there. And then I remember just going home with my dad, and my dad was like, you know, son, this isn't a bad thing. You know, me and my dad, we're big numbers guys. So like even like our address, you'd add up the numbers, and if it equaled a certain thing, like 13, we're like, no, we can't buy that house, dude. No, can't do that, you know?
So you never even talked to A-Rod?
I mean, we're high five buddies, dude. And then next thing you know, he was like, Nick, now let's look at this, right? We can still have the mold of being a Swisher with number 9 because 3 times 3 is 9. So you can have your own individuality of yourself, but you can still have me as number 9, which I thought was really cool because I always wanted to be like my dad. Still do try to be like my dad a lot, for the good or bad. I'm not sure. But either way, being able to have a father who played in the show like that and to be able to have some sort of tie to his number and my number, I'll always be able to have that.
I never met your dad. Is he like you?
No,
Same energy level?
Opposite. No.
Really?
My mother, R.I.P., me and her were exactly the same. My father is a little more toned down version of me. A little quieter than me. But yeah, definitely my best friend, hero, idol. So to be able to kind of share this platform with him in the baseball world is pretty cool. I heard you were, in your episode, you were talking about like the 3 generations. We never had 3, but we had 2. And so I share with my father being, I think, the 5th or 6th ever father-son combination be drafted in the first round. I think is pretty cool. And we both played an all-star game and stuff, Team USA. So really kind of cool to have those things to be able to
You
share.
still have time to have a son.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I got nothing but girls in here, bro. I don't even know what to tell you, man. I mean, if I'm shooting for a 3 ball, I mean, you know I'm getting another girl. So I don't even know what I'm doing.
Now, Tino, after the Yankees, Cardinals, Rays, what numbers did you go to there? Were they still 23?
So I wore 21 with the Cardinals. It was available again. All the other numbers were taken there. And then I wore 24 with the Rays. One of the coaches had 24 with the Cardinals. And he asked me if I wanted it. I said, no, you've been here a long time. You know, you keep the number. It's not that big of a deal to me anyway. I was, moved on from the Yankees, so I wanted to create something else with the Cardinals and wore 21. Then back with the Rays one year, I wore 24 again, and that was it. Then I went back to the Yankees and retired.
I went to, how about this? You tell me this. You're a manager now, so I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Did you switch your watch?
Again.
For the second time. I've gone back and forth. I don't know which wrist to watch
had
it
that
on.
watch on both wrists. for the last hour.
Well, when this hand
going
gets
back and
going with
forth.
the handshakes and the high fives, you know, like sometimes it snaps off, you know? So then I switch it over to my left. And then I just take it back and forth, you know? It
Which hitter?
just depends. It depends.
How
So-
hard are you high-fiving people?
Hard enough. It's pretty standard high five, you know. But when I went to Atlanta to finish out my career, Freddie Gonzalez was the manager. He was wearing number 33, and he wouldn't give it up.
No,
So-
no cash?
I mean, cash, it wouldn't work. So I'm thinking to myself, like, if he would have been like, hey, do you want it? I would be like, hell yeah, bro, I'm taking that. Because I don't know, a number meant something to me. Like, it felt familiar, you know?
Yeah.
So going to a 23. So I only got like 1 3 in there, you know? Which obviously, at that point in my career, I was a quarter of the player I was at that point. So it was time to go anyways. It was time to shut it down, bro. Get on out of there. So I was like, oh, I guess that's why he didn't give me number 33. Okay, it makes sense. He knew I was going to be there for like a month, and then I was out of there.
Now, one of the strange things about Yankee manager numbers is that you never see them. Starting with Buck Showalter with that windbreaker, you never, I mean, every now and then you have the uniform on. How do you choose to show the number? Otherwise, you always have a sweatshirt on, a hoodie.
Just every now and then I'll wear it. I'm always cold. Okay? Like these games right now, it could be 60 degrees with a little breeze, and I am freezing. I got about 6 layers on. So that's kind of where it starts from. Then even in summer, I don't get that hot. So I don't know. I just prefer a pullover.
You know, we had a shot of you on Yes the other day, and you looked like you were managing the Iditarod. I mean, really.
Yeah.
You bundled up.
Bundle. I run cold.
Well, I've always wondered this. You're the daughter of a very prominent person in baseball. You're young, so you're on social media. Does it bother you when people criticize your dad?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't get defensive. I mean, he's my dad, so like there's part of me that's like, I'm gonna fight you. Like, but I think with the good comes the bad, and there's no bigger honor than being born into the Yankee family. So if I have to take some random social media people like every now and then saying something, it's delete. It's not.
You know what
that
you
big of a
should
deal.
do is go the Kevin Durant route. Get a burner and answer him back.
Oh, that's a good one.
Burn away.
Not my first rodeo.
Not a bad idea.
The real K-Ster.
All right. There will never be a Gracie
I know.
Cashman one. Just
If you see a charge for a new phone on your credit card,
You know what it is.
it was his idea.
Now, you said you were born in the Yankees. You told me a story backstage that just blew my mind. That you were literally born into the Yankees. Please tell them that story.
Well, I might need to tap in someone who wasn't attached to an umbilical cord while it was going on, but from what I know, the Chuck Knobloch snafu
Yes.
happened, and it was on in the delivery room while I was being born. But I don't know a lot about this.
Yes, so basically it's the play that the Cleveland series, when they bunted me the ball, we were down, I think 2-1 in the series already, whatever it was, and the guy was running inside the line, and I threw the ball to Chuck Knobloch, but the guy was inside the line, hit him in the shoulder, and the ball bounced away from Chuck. And Chuck, instead of going to get the ball, just started pointing at the guy was in the way. The guy was in the meanwhile, this guy's running the bases, around the bases from third, not running, and he's pointing at the ball. And take the story from there. That was going on at the time of her being born.
Well, that's a big deal. So obviously, all of a sudden, everyone's trying to get in touch with my dad because he had to leave a playoff game because I was being born, his firstborn, and my mom was like, "Turn it off."
This is my day. Turn it off.
Turn it off.
So you arrived during a Yankee loss.
But then they won the World Series.
They-
So
I don't know if they lost after that.
no.
So you're the good luck charm.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I take all credit.
Yeah. You know, part of the show that, really jumped out at me, and I've always wondered this because you had one of the magnificent moments in baseball history. I mean, a home run for the ages. Just your thought process running around the bases, it's fascinating to me because you want to take it in, but can you really do it?
I tried, but no, you can't. I couldn't. I remember telling myself to try and drink all this in. But we're talking about, I wore this pad on my batting glove that was Velcroed to my batting glove because I had gotten hit a bunch of times. The couple years before, I broke my wrist, broke my hand getting hit by pitches. So I had this pad. And as I'm running around the bases, well, I guess you saw the episode, I'm strapping that pad on as I'm trying to drink in the madness that's going on around me. But you had asked too about, did I see Mariano in the
Mariano was
picture?
collapsed on the mound.
I did not even notice that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even remember what happened with Mariano on that. It was just an emotional moment.
Yeah.
And he had
I think
to get
he
on
was
the mound.
exhausted too because he pitched 3 innings and they said that's it, and he told them no, that's not it. I'm not coming out.
I said that was it.
You said that was it.
He was on the mound, kissing the mound.
He said, I got this for you, Miles. I got
He was
this.
kissing the mound before he even touched third base.
That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
Is that legal?
Illegal, yeah, we don't know, but yeah, he wasn't even touched
Imagine
third
if they
base
said
yet.
the home run doesn't count. Mariano came out.
Thought he wanted to go hug Mooney, but he hugged him out.
Like, let's go love on the guy that got us the win. you know?
Yeah. Do you dream about that?
Do I? No.
Really? Like when you're sleeping, that doesn't pop up? I mean,
It
the
runs
home
on
run.
a loop in my house.
Right. Right.
You know, by the time I go to bed, I'm done with it for the day.
We're so different because I keep dreaming, see ya, see ya. Nick, what did the 2009 World Series mean to you?
It's everything. I mean, think about it. It's 15 years ago. This year, come November, 15 years from winning that World Series. I know. I didn't really know it was 15 years ago until I found out Old Timers Day this year is going to obviously represent 2009, which was 15 years ago. What an amazing group of individuals. We're going to get it, dude. We're going to get one. I think just in general, just to be able to be part of the New York Yankee organization. It's funny, my wife and I were talking about this the other day. When we rattled off that World Series in 2009, I just thought to myself, baby, we're going to get like 5 more of them. And just roll them off. Just because it was such a dominant team that year. And we were just so dominant. We didn't start off dominant, but we finished dominant. And after that, it just goes to show you how fortunate you really have to be. That's when I look over here at this guy, and he got like 5 of them over here. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm jealous. First of all, but second of all, just to be able to go to 1, I didn't feel like that was enough. I felt like we had way better teams than that. But a lot of things have to go your way. And I think we've noticed in the past couple of years, we've had some great teams, and just sometimes whether the luck, maybe injuries or whatever, a lot of different things can happen. But that's why it's so special to be able to win a World Series. Everything has to go your way.
I hear so many athletes say, if I don't win the Super Bowl or the World Series, I still had a great career. And then, Dan Marino says that.
Yeah.
But John Elway used to say that, and he said, I was lying.
Yeah.
Until he won 2.
Yeah.
So it means something, right? It wouldn't be complete without it.
100%. I think it really kind of etched my name into Yankee history. And there's no other organization I'd want my name etched in history other than the New York Yankees. So to be able to be part of that team, along with the core 4, to be able to experience that, and now in the role that I'm at now as an advisor, being able to work hand in hand with guys like Brian Cashman and the rest of the team, just trying to do whatever I can to make it better. It's just an honor to still be part of it all.
Now, Tino, you have 4. And I love when people say, well, I can't pick a favorite child. Everybody has a favorite child. I mean, it might change from day to day, but you do have a favorite. What's your favorite? Not your child, your World Series.
They were all different. They were all great. And winning the first one in 1996 was a first for all of us. For Jeter, for most of the guys on the team, probably except for Paul O'Neill maybe. We all hadn't won a World Series before, and Joe Torre included. So that was a really big one, and probably the greatest experience you could ever have at that point, with the horses on the field and the celebration. And then, as you know,
was riding around on
yeah,
the horse?
Wade Boggs. I mean, Wade
That was
Boggs
dope.
never won a World Series all his career, and he's on the horse out there enjoying it all. Brilliant. I would have done it too. I didn't think I was
Bud
just.
Lights in the back. He's ready.
It was amazing to win in '96, and as you know, the parade is like no other parade in America. I mean, it's so awesome to go through that Canyon of Heroes down to City Hall, and that experience with 3 million people on the streets was amazing. And then at that point, as we talked about, you want to win a World Series in your career, and to win one was awesome. And then to do it again, second, third, and fourth times, 3 back-to-back after that was unheard of or unthinkable. But at that point, we were, like you said, we're going to reel off a few of them here. And I thought in '97 we had a better team than we did in '96. And we lost in '97, because we just the breaks didn't go our way. But then again, in '98, the dominant team we had was a very memorable one too, because the way we just played our whole season, just crushing everybody day in and day out and sweeping in the postseason the whole time was a great experience. And then to do it again in 2000 against the Mets was a great one for that reason, because we couldn't lose against the Mets no matter what we've done in the past. And so there was definitely a lot of pressure on us in 2000 to beat the Mets. There really was, because we had won 3 already. The Mets hadn't won anything, and we couldn't let them outdo us, especially with the boss that we had at the time now. He would have no part of that. So that one was almost, honestly, that was a great win, but it was almost a relief at the end. Like, whew, thank God we got that one. Let's go.
Well, I mean, for those that don't know the story, I mean, George Steinbrenner was in their face. He was in the locker room at Shea Stadium, and there was a flood, and he had people bring Yankee furniture back, and he's taking water out of the and that's all in front of you guys.
Yeah, so we played the first 2 games in New York at the Yankee Stadium. We won both those. I think we lost game 3 or 4, 3 maybe. Anyhow, we got to Shea Stadium that day for the game 3, which is the first game there. We get there early. The players get there early because the buses are early, the traffic and all that stuff. We got to get there. So the game's at 8 o'clock. We're probably there at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And at Shea Stadium, they just had these little stools, real little stools in each locker. So there was not much area there to go relax and for a couple hours before the game. So we're just sitting on the stools, hanging around, talking and stuff. And
I think the stools had Met logos on it too.
Yeah, oh yeah, had Met logos. They did Met logos on them, and unless you lay in the training room table or something, but you're just hanging around. And the boss saw us doing that. He's like, "What's going on here? You don't have a place to like rest, lay down, to rest? We got guys, whatever." So he was disappointed that we didn't have anywhere to sit and relax at. So the next day, he had leather furniture brought into our locker room. Leather couches, leather chairs at Shea Stadium. So we were, it was nice because we got to hang out there and whatever. It was very nice. But at the end of the day, that night, we beat them that night. And not to win the World Series, to win that game. And that night, there was a flood in the locker room, a complete flood. Up to there, the furniture was destroyed. The showers were broken, all cold water. We couldn't even shower there. So somebody actually pulled something on us and started a flood there and made it to ruin the furniture. So it was ruined. But we wanted to win the World Series, which is a great thing. But that was a good experience, too.
So let me ask you the question I asked Aaron. 98 Grand Slam off Mark Langston.
Yeah.
Do you dream about it?
I do not. I do not. I do not. I don't. I see it when you guys see it at the stadium. They'll show it on the board when I'm at the stadium. That's the only time I ever see it. I've never even watched the game, a replay of the game.
You guys
I have not.
He's lying.
No, I'm not.
No way.
I'm not lying. I've seen replays of my Grand Slam a lot. It's everywhere. And I see it all the time, but I've never watched the game in its entirety, since we won that game.
I feel horrible now.
No, I did.
Because I'll look at my wife and I'll be like, "Baby, can you introduce me?"
No. But
She'll be like, "What?" And I'll be like, "Baby, just like I'm hitting." She'll be like,
you know what I dream?
now batting number 33, Nick Swisher. He does this every night.
Your alarm's going off. I dream my baseball dream, honestly, it's all the time. I'm playing first base. I'm serious. And I'm playing first base, and they're throwing the ball across the diamond to me, and I can't catch it. I can't reach it. Every time it goes by me, I swear.
That's a bad dream.
And I'm going like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. And, I mean, it happens to me all the time. Or a ground ball right here, I can't get to it. It's like I'm underwater. I'm like, what's going on? And then I'd wake up, and I'm like,
can't
hey,
get
God.
to first base.
Right, you can't?
I can't run to.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's weird, right? I can't. The ball's coming, and I go like that. I go. and the ball's over there, and I'm like, oh no, and I panicked.
Is there a doctor in the house? See what's going on here?
Somebody for these.
I
I'm
am.
telling you.
I'm almost afraid to ask this. Nick, what do you dream about?
Not that stuff, dude.
That's my baseball dream. A baseball dream. Have fun the dreams.
Do you dream about baseball at all?
Listen, I do miss it for sure. I think we all miss it in some sort of sense that we can't go out there and compete as much. But I think that we're all pretty happy on where we are in our lives right now. And I think we're all pretty proud of the careers that we've had. So I don't think we want to redo anything. I don't think we want to go back and redo it. But damn, I'd love to go back and relive it for just a hot second. Just for a minute, dude. Just for a hot second. Just to hear the cheers one more time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just one more time.
Old Timers Day.
That's it.
We'll get the cheer.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I will be there.
There you go. Now, Gracie, I won. You know, your dad's invested in every single moment. So as you're a kid, and they win games, was he in a better mood after they won? And when they lost, did you know stay away?
Not really. I mean, I think when you're a kid, I always say my dad was a dad first, and I think he did a good job of that. So there was definitely no. I mean, I guess maybe something like really bad, like, but for the most part, no. He's a pretty even kill kind of guy. If you know him, there's not that much that like raises his blood pressure.
I've gotten some blood pressure calls.
In my experience, that means it was my fault.
Very good. It was. So, other than the Wakefield home run, what was the best moment of your career?
Whew. I think, I don't know if I'd put a moment on it other than a time. In '99, with the Reds, we lost to the Mets actually in the one-game playoff, whatever, at the end of the season. It was a year of like walk-offs and, you know, I had walk-off hits and things like that. But it was a year of like where I knew I was a big league player. And like I knew I had established myself. And there was a feeling in that year. I had so much fun playing the game with that team. It's the funnest year I ever had playing baseball. Little league, high school, college, 1999 playing that year with that group of guys. And like that feeling of becoming like knowing I can play and deliver in the big leagues. I would say not necessarily a moment. There was a walk-off moment in that year that wouldn't mean anything, but becoming that was big.
So because of that season, do you despise Al Leiter for beating you in the playoff game?
You know, you play this, so I showed up to the ballpark that night so positive that we were going to win.
Okay.
Like just this feeling of confidence, like we're winning this, and Al just dominated us that night. It was just this brutal night, and to your guys' point, like, man, you win in '09, you think you're going to roll them off. We were a young team that year, and I remember being in the clubhouse after the game, and like the quiet and the disappointment, but this feeling of like, we'll be back here next year, and you realize, you know, how precious every game, every moment, every opportunity is. That it's not like that. So it was an eye opener for me. Like, man, you got to seize when you have the chance.
All right, a lot of people here, obviously Yankee fans. How do you feel about this team? You're 10 games over 500. You just swept the Tigers. What's your feeling about this team?
It's a good start. I don't feel like we've even reached our stride, which is good.
Yeah.
What I love is the purpose with which the group is playing, and you felt that purpose, I think, from day one in spring training, and these guys have come together. They're incredibly close, and they've done a lot of winning things. We haven't been a perfect team. Like I said, I don't think we found our stride yet offensively, or certain guys getting going, whatever it may be, but we've been able to do a lot of winning things in some close games. So whether it's a big defensive play, a big hit, the pitching's been a constant. We've gotten good turns really every time through our starting rotation. I've talked a lot about a foundation being laid that we've started in spring training. We've carried that here into the early part of the season. We got a chance to be really good. That's all it is right now, though. It's early May. We got a chance. We got to keep growing as a team.
You have been very mysterious for the last couple of weeks. Anytime anybody asks you about Gerrit Cole, you don't want to give a date. Just between us, what's the date?
I wish it was mystery. It's other than I'm just, I get his schedule I think he's expected to be on the mound again in some way, shape, or form tomorrow, and we're just trying to continue to stack good days with him. It seems like it's going well so far, which is encouraging, and hopefully he gets back on that mound for us at some point. But one of the early things that's been exciting is you take Gerrit Cole obviously out of our rotation and the shock of that, and to see how the rotation has stepped up in his absence and the consistency that they've shown, that's been really, really exciting.
Tell us about how a team absorbs that kind of blow. I mean, he's the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
And then you get word in spring training, oh, by the way, there's something wrong with his elbow at this point.
Yeah.
How do you not have the team get down on itself?
Well, we have a lot of good players in that room, and one of the things we talk about all the time as a team from the first day of spring training is I know a lot of things are coming our way. I know a lot of shit's going to come our way, pardon my words, throughout the season, good, bad, and indifferent. But we know adversity's coming in this long marathon. And how do you handle that? Mm-hmm. And so we try and run to that a lot. We have great leadership in the room, and we got great players. And it's opened the door for probably Luis Heel to get an opportunity, and he's kind of kicked the door in. But it's a testament to, I think, the kind of players and kind of depth and talent that we do have.
Luis Heel against Justin Verlander tomorrow. You can watch it on Yes at 6 o'clock. Pre-game. 7:05 first pitch. We have some questions from the audience.
Okay.
Paley members, as a matter of fact. This is from Amelia Carter. She asks, as a parent of a son who wants to pursue baseball, what would be the best advice he can receive from baseball legends such as yourself? You're the first legend, Tino.
Okay. It's just working hard. That's all I did. I worked hard my whole life. I did well in school. My parents really stressed education in school. And baseball came second, and I practiced a lot when I was in Little League. We didn't have travel ball like the kids do now, where they play year-round. We played seasonal in Tampa, and when in the off-season when we weren't playing, I would hit off the tee a lot in the backyard and just practice all I can and just try to get better and better. Just hard work and have fun, and really have fun first and foremost at that age, and just see where it goes.
When did you know you were going to be a big leaguer, or you had the talent to maybe be a big leaguer?
I wouldn't say I knew I was going to be a big leaguer in high school, but I had a really good year my freshman year. I started as a freshman, and we had two guys. Richard Monteleone is a senior pitcher who's going to be drafted in the first round, and Lance McCullers, senior, Lance's dad that's pitching now.
Oh, you play with his dad?
Yeah, he was a senior, and they both were going to be top first round and second round picks. So that year I hit 430 my freshman year in high school, and we won the state championship. But the scouts that came to watch them kept talking to me after games, hey, if you keep working hard, buddy, you got a chance to be in the big leagues. You got a good swing if you keep working hard. So I remembered that. I kept working hard year in, year out, and I was drafted after my senior year in high school, and by the Boston Red Sox, and in the third round. But my parents didn't let me sign. So they said if I was good enough after college, they'll find me and I'll be able to play Major League Baseball at that point. So went to college, and I knew that I had a chance when I was in college.
So you hit 430 as a freshman. You won the state championship. You must have been a really tough social life, right?
Horrible.
With
that hair and everything.
I wasn't supposed to start that year. Somebody got hurt, and I just played first base. Actually, And I just was getting hits every day. It was incredible. It was
You see
crazy.
the stuff he dreams about now. You know?
That was the dream year, but it was great.
What advice would you give, Nick?
Only because I have two of my own daughters. Let them try everything. Don't force them down a path. Don't force them in your dream. Let them live their own dreams. Try it all, because he might be a good baseball player, but he might be an excellent soccer player. He might be an excellent lacrosse player. So I think just for myself, I've been around this game long enough, and I've seen the burn is real, and the burnout is real. 75% of all of our athletes stop playing sports by the time they're 13. So if that's the statistic, and 0.029643% of all athletes make it to the professional level, if that's the stat, then why are we not teaching our kids to love the games they play? Why are we not teaching our kids to enjoy every second that they get to be on a field in a team setting? So those are the things that I look at. If you have the skills and the talent and the passion, it's going to happen. But you can't force that upon anybody. And the burn is real. That's something that I truly believe in. I have nephews that play 100 baseball games a year, and it drives me insane, because I feel like at some point they're just going to look at their mom and be like, hey, I'm done. And then what are they going to do? And then how are your parents going to feel? So I think for me, try it all, man. Let your kids do whatever they want when it comes to the sports. I also think individual sports as well as team sports are a good idea as well. So, baseball is an individual game based upon a team unit. So I think nowadays it's great for young athletes to understand how that they need to count on other teammates, and those teammates need to be able to count on them as well.
Gracie, did you give him that number? 0.2?
No, I looked that up the other day because I heard some parents in the stands, and I was like, "Yo, player, I need to hit him with some truth here. I need to give him some straight honesty real quick." So you know what I'm saying? It used to be 0.04, now it's less. So
What was it again?
I think it's 0.0296. It's pi, bro. Pi.
Another show you got.
It's true, you know what I'm saying? Gracie, you didn't even know I had these numbers, girl.
No, I didn't.
What's your advice, Aaron?
Don't be the reason for their burnout. Support the heck out of them, but get out of their way and let them carve their own path. They'll go to where they're going to go. Mm-hmm. And as they climb and, start to declare something as they get older, you want to be there to support them, but kind of get out of their way and let them sink or swim on their own.
This next question is from Jake Levine, also a Paley member, and it's for you, Aaron. What factors play into the evolution of players becoming coaches? Does it help more that you are a Yankee or the fact you are a successful major league player?
It's a great question, because everyone's path's different. I think there's some people that while they're playing, you never think they're going to be a coach or a manager. Other people are like, I'm invested in being a lifer in this. What happens with a lot of people, what I found, so my last year of my career was 2009. And I went to work right away in 2010 with ESPN. What I found a lot with peers of mine, friends of mine, is, you're fortunate enough to have a big league career, and if you made money, I don't have to go to work right away. It can be a little bit of a curse because there's a little bit of relief when you get done. Like it's such a grind, and it can be stressful, and you just want to kind of get away from it all. But a lot of what happens with a lot of people is they get lost, and they, have a hard time getting back into it. So what I tell people a lot of time is I feel like we're all made to work, right? We're all made to work. We're not made to retire at 33 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old, whatever it may be. So trying to, be cognizant of things you're passionate about. If it's coaching and you want to get into and stay in the game after you're done, have a little exit strategy. Be thinking about that. But be thinking about what you may want to do when you're done, even if you're fortunate to have made enough money to set yourself up. Because I feel like a lot of friends of mine that get into a little bit of a dark place when they get out of the game and just want to decompress. And I get it. You want to decompress. You want to be able to play golf and be with your family and not have, but then all of a sudden you get stuck a little bit. And so I try to talk to, even my players or players that I know are towards the end of their career, like, man, what are you passionate about? Start having a plan for moving forward.
A big part of it was probably the broadcasting, right?
Yes.
So Brian, when he, 33 years, I can be next. Think of me. Michael Shane, Paley member. Would you set specific statistical goals before a season or aim for certain numbers to reach in your career that would be a benchmark for your success? Were there certain numbers you had in mind as a player for yourself? Tino.
I would say I always was trying to hit 300. I thought 300 was a mark. If I could hit 300 and have 20 home runs, that it would be a great season. Back then, because 20 home runs was good when I first came up. It was. 25 home runs. It was good. I thought, okay, once I achieved that, that's what I wanted to do every year, 25 home runs. I didn't set numbers goals. I was more like, that's what I wanted to achieve, but I wanted to have good at-bats day in and day out leading up to whatever happens that season happens. Because if I don't give away at-bats throughout the season, I know that my numbers will be where they're going to be at. But I thought the benchmark about hitting 300, right around 300, and 20, 25 home runs, and I wanted to drive in 100 runs every year as well, would be really good years for me. And those are kind of my benchmarks, but if I fell short of those, it wasn't because I didn't work as hard, or just things didn't fall into place that year. Joe Torre was the first one who always mentioned that to me. One year I had a down year. He said he hit 367 one year and won the MVP. I was league MVP. Next year I hit 242. He said, try just as hard. Did the same thing I did last year. It's just the way the ball goes and the way the game is. So you set goals, but you just got to try to just take it one day at a time, one at bat at a time, because it's, like you said, it's such a grind.
Yeah.
The whole year's a grind, and just max out your whole season and do the best you can every at bat.
Yeah, no doubt. I did, for sure. Never reached any of my goals because I set them so high. I have my whole life. I have that old saying, like, you shoot for the moon, and if you land short, you'll end up on a star. And that's kind of the old saying that my Aunt Betsy gave me, one of those. I don't know if you guys stick stuff on your refrigerators, but that was like one of those refrigerator magnets that I always had that said, shoot for the moon, and if you land short, you'll end on a star. And that was kind of what I always did, because I always wanted people to know the type of player that they were getting. And I think that they did. I was very consistent in my approach on who I was as an individual, as well as I was statistically as a player for most of my career until the end, when I just couldn't do it anymore. But I think that was one of the things that I really appreciated most when I look back in my career, was the consistency, because you knew exactly what you were going to get out of me every year.
How about you, Aaron?
So when I was playing, I was obsessed with RBIs. So I wanted to drive in 100 runs, and the most I drove in was 96, so I never drove in 100 runs. And that always bugged me a little bit. But I also realize now, too, it's like, man, a lot of the RBIs are product of your team, where you're hitting in the order, a lot of different things. But I was obsessed with, like, I used to always say they can't take those off the board. Like, you get off to a slow start and you look up your batting averages in April, 160, or you're off to a hot start, whatever it may be. Like the RBIs, I'm like, they can't take those off the board. Those keep adding up. And so I always wanted to drive in runs, and I was obsessed with that.
Do you have a number in your head as a manager? Or I want to win this many games this year?
No.
You don't?
No.
What do you mean?
I
It
wanna
has
win-
to be 100, bro. You win 100 every year.
I want to win the last one.
I like that one.
I mean, we could talk for hours. This is such an interesting group, but I want to thank everybody for coming. The Paley Center for hosting us. Now, the show that you saw with Gracie and Aaron, that will premiere on the Yes Network. But the subsequent shows will be on the Great Yes app. And if you get Yes on TV, you get the Yes app for free. And if you watch Yankee games, you'll hear me say that 6 to 7 times a game. So I thought I would repeat it now. It's been a great time. Gracie, it's going to be a huge success. I think you've done an unbelievable job. And thank you for joining us here.